Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Offensive Penetration Testing course, Hackers' Main Tools. My name is Alejandro Guinea, and I'll be your instructor for today's lesson. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the episode number 8, Netcat. The learning objectives is to understand some basic Netcat commands and options, and combine those options to execute useful TCP/IP techniques. Well, let's get started. Well, first of all, Netcat is known as to be the Swiss Army knife of the TCP/IP protocol, because you can do basically anything that you can imagine with the TCP protocol. Let's start with the basics, shall we? Banner grabbing, basically just gathering information from the remote host. We can, use our Windows server here, and we will type, you can use the word netcat, or you can use the abbreviation just NC. We'll use NC here, and we can type the IP of our Windows machine, which has an IIS server running, and the port, of course. And we tell them that since it's HTTP, we'll tell them to it's an HTTP command. And you will see some content, for example, which server is, and some other information. Basically, just as the name is, runner grabbing, it will get more information, as this is a bad request. But you can. This will be different for different servers, web servers, of course, or any other service actually. Maybe it will be different if you're using Apache, or if you're using, I don't know, any other web server you can imagine. For example, this server didn't like this instruction, so let's try this out. head/http/1.0, and didn't like that either. Or did it? No, didn't like it. This is just things that you can try, but at the end is banner grabbing. You can see this information and any other information you can imagine on this by using this technique. You can apply the same to SSH, of course. Just change the port, and there you have it. SSH. This will throws an exception. The point is that you can get the information or gather information while using Netcat, because at the end is the Swiss Army knife of the TCP/IP protocol, and you can see why. You can again do the same with FTP, which are the services that we have running here, and Microsoft FTP service. You can that's the heart or the core of banner grabbing. And but you can tell them, hey, you know what, I can do the same with Telnet. Actually, let's try it out. Let's just change this command and Telnet, and you can, for example, put the instruction and the password, and you will put the password and you will log in. That's the point. But the point is that you can do so much more stuff with Netcat. But that's the reason it's called the TCP/IP Swiss Army knife. How do you like to implement a chat system between Windows and our Linux machine? That sounds like fun, right? Well, first we have to we will have to download a Netcat version for Windows. Fortunately, we have that already in our Linux machine. By default, Kali comes with the executable version of the Netcat. You just type locate. Remember that command? Locate netcat.exe, and I did have it here, but the default path is this one. So remember that we use the SCP command for the transfer files over the SSH protocol. Well, let's use it right now so we can actually transfer this Netcat executable to our Windows server. shall we? SCP, and then we have to type the direction, which is at the end is USR shared Windows binaries and netcat.x. And then we type the username of the remote server, the server itself. I'm going through the command so we can all remember what's what it's used for and what's the command itself. When you type the remote location, I want to save it to the desktop. You know what? First, let me open here another terminal so we can actually see our Windows desktop at the same time, so we can see the chat working just fine. I will just put that in here. Remote desktop, the IP, the user, Alejandro Guinea, of course, and it will log into my user, and I'll just type the password here. And let me just set this to this size so we can see both systems at the same time. Okay, cancel. And then we have it. We have this system here. And as you can see, we just have the test here, Notepad, and a couple of files. We don't have any Netcat connection or any Netcat file itself. So we'll save it to the desktop. Let me just type the command here. Users, Alejandro Guinea, desktop. And we just type enter. Of course, we will request the password. And it was transferred successfully according to the output. And there we have it. We have our Netcat executable in Windows. Then we just have to simply, we'll start the chat system. First, I will start a listener. It will open a port, a TCP port on my Kali machine. And this is just to, as the name suggests, I will be opening a TCP port. That's how handy and useful and powerful can the netcat command be. And I will down at netcat minus LBP to give it kind of a stability. 1, 2, 3, 4, which will port open. Let me just open another command line, and netstat minus ntp rep 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'll return nothing. And once I open this command will return that it's listening on port 1, 2, 3, 4. And I now, as simple as it sounds, I switch to my Windows environment and I just type netcat.exe, executable version of it, and the IP of my Kali machine, which is 10. And the port that is running. And there you have it. You have a connection, a really good stable connection, and you can just type hello Cyber server and what is up. And you can see this is how powerful can netcat command be, and one of the many usage you can give to this netcat command. And yeah, as you can imagine, we can also use this netcat to transfer files. For example, let me transfer a picture of myself, of my beautiful face. I will just type. I'm in the desktop files directory right now, so I will type and I will transfer this picture. So that command, that's another thing that I like about netcat. The commands are really simple, very intuitive, and there's nothing complicated to that. And yeah, you can combine netcat with other Linux commands by piping them from or to netcat. It works both ways. So netcat minus nlbp, which I'll be listening on the port, remember. But anyone that connects to this, I will send them my picture. So I'll start the listener, and right on the Windows side, the client side, of this connection, I will again start the Netcat. I will tell them to connect to back to my Kali, and port 1234, and I will output that to these locations. Users, Alejandro Guinea, desktop, and PNG. And if everything goes correctly, I'll connect to that and I should receive that. And there you have it. I have my beautiful face right there. So this is how powerful this Netcat can be. You can transfer files. You can do whatever you want with Netcat. Whatever you want with the TCP protocol. Don't get me wrong. But I know what you've been thinking right now. Can we actually take control or take over the remote machine? And the answer is yes. You can actually have a command line on the remote server. In this case, is the Windows server. I mean, the Windows machine that we have here. But yeah, you can actually take control over any machine. You can transfer files. Maybe sometimes, as I told you before, you don't have an SSH. You got the reverse shell, or you got control over the machine by using an exploit. So yeah, you can actually and we transfer the files here doing SCP command to transfer it via the SSH protocol. But as you can imagine, we already saw the wget command. So you can use the wget command. I mean, let's say that you have control of the machine because you hack it, but there's no actually protocol to interact with the machine. I mean, maybe there's no SSH or there's no FTP, so you can upload files. So you can just use the wget command over the remote machine, download the Netcat executable version, or the Netcat itself if it is a Linux machine, and you can start transferring files, downloading files, or doing any kind of task you may want. But the question remains: can we actually take control over the remote machines? And the answer is actually yes. First, let's just start. Just another listener here, just the same command. And on a remote session, on a remote Windows machine, we tell them to connect to the same IP, the same command, and we tell them to execute a cmd.exe, which is a terminal or a command line for Windows. And we hit enter, and there you have it. We have now full control over the remote machine, over the Windows machine. So as you can see, if I type who am I'm Alejandro Guinea, IP config. I have remote control over the remote host. So yeah, that's how powerful this Netcat command can be. That's again why it's called the Swiss Army knife of the TCP/IP protocol. Well, let's close this window. What is banner grabbing? Well, actually, it's just gathering information or getting information from the remote system, or the remote system remote ports. What name is often used when we are talking about Netcat? Well, I use it like several times, many times during this video. Is the Swiss Army knife of the TCP/IP protocol. Why? Because you can do so many things with that tool. Can we take remote control of a victim by using Netcat? Yeah, we definitely can. As you can see, we can transfer files. We can do anything that you can imagine with the TCP protocol. So it's really useful. It's really easy to use, and it's not that heavy to download with the wget. So yeah, you can get creative with Netcat once you have access to the remote machine. In this video, we saw several Netcat commands to perform various pen testing techniques or tasks. We executed some Netcat techniques to understand how can they help us in our penetration testing process. Supplemental materials. Again, any Netcat cheat sheet you can find on Google. You just have to Google that and whatever works for you. You can actually Google for specific techniques, like how can I transfer a file that is in a specific format, or can I transfer a bulk of files. Yeah, I can assure you you will have an answer, and the command will not be that complicated to implement and understand. So yeah, another point for Netcat. Looking forward, in the next video, we'll cover some basic knowledge of bind and reverse shells, kind of what we did with the netcat command to execute a command line from Windows. Well, that's it for today, folks. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and hope to see you soon.